Okay, gosh, I don't know how well we played. I thought we played very well defensively in the second half, but to beat that team is playing as well as they were playing by 29, we must have been doing something right. So we out-rebounded them substantially, and I thought did a good job on a couple of their primary scorers, Clint Carlson and Jeremy Morgan. But so we'll take that victory, we'll take that margin, and move on. Thank you, buddy.
Coach, they cut the deficit to 38-32 in the second half, and Landry Shimon hits that big time three. What to say about a redshirt freshman that he can make a big shot like that and kind of stop their momentum?
Well, I don't think at this point Landry considers himself a freshman, but he is. He's a redshirt freshman. We all know it, but he's played a lot of basketball now, and I just think Landry's a very good player. He's a guy that every night does it for us, handling the basketball, scoring the basketball, playing pretty good defense. I mean, to be honest with you, I think he's an all-conference player, but who knows how the voting will go. I don't know how many guys we can get on that first team or second team, but he's somebody that should definitely be in that conversation. He's had a tremendous year. After he assumed the point guard position, he's just flourished. And again, he goes 4 for 6 from three. He has 14 points, 4 assists, 1 turnover. He's got one of the best assist-to-turnover ratios in the country for freshmen especially. And he's scoring the ball at a very high level and doing a lot of good things for us. But man, there was 2 calls right before that I had a little problem with, but we got beyond that. We got beyond the hatchet job that Shaq received, and then the call on the other end for the ticky-tack. But it was a big shot for him, and it stemmed the tide.
You're ranked very high in some of the rankings, Ken Palm, others. Do you think you've risen now above this at-large top? How do you feel about
Bob, again, they don't ask me my opinion. You do, but the people in the room they don't care what we have to say. But I was asked the same question, so I guess now it's as good a time as any to talk about. I was asked the same question with ESPN and Sports Center, and we tried to schedule we thought was the best schedule in my 10 years here. I mean, we chose to go to the Bahamas and play in a tournament where you play LSU, and if you win, you play Louisville, and then Michigan State. Those are 3 pretty good teams in an exempt tournament. Then we also chose to play Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, and Colorado State on the road, and Tulsa and St. Louis and Long Beach State. If you just look at those type teams and take out what they've done this year, we can't control. That's the part about the RPI I can't stand. We can't control what happens with Oklahoma now with Jordan Woodard going down. We played him with Jordan Woodard. He had 28 points. He's a pretty good player. He's a really good player, and I really like him. And I hate that he's hurt. But Oklahoma now is playing without him. And so take that for whatever it's worth. We tried to schedule the best possible schedule we could. And 5 or 6 BCS schools, none of them at home other than Oklahoma State at Intrust, none of them here. And then, we're just playing the game the way we're as well as we can play it. We're playing at we're playing better than we were earlier in the year. We lost 2 NBA guards, and we were starting a freshman and a JUCO, and now we're starting a freshman and a guy that's played about half a year. Connor had played a half a year for us last year. So those guys have gotten so much better from early in the year. Unfortunately, we don't have a chance to go back and play Louisville and Michigan State and Oklahoma State. 3 of our losses were before Christmas. And the only thing that I can say to anybody that doesn't think this is an NCAA tournament team and one of the top, whatever, at-large, however many teams there are, 37 at-large bids, is they don't watch enough basketball. Because all you have to do is watch our team. All you have to do is watch our team. And and I'll add this, the last 4 or 5 years, we have, the same thing has happened, and we've gotten a worse seed or at least a worse placement in the tournament than we deserved, but we still win 9 games in that amount of time in the last 4 years. So something's going on. We beat people when we get in the tournament. Most of the time we won a couple of games, and last year we weren't supposed to be in, and then we had Arizona down by 25. We were beating Arizona by 25, and they were a 6 seed. You got to ask Sean Miller and people like that have played us. I mean, how good are those teams? How good is Wichita State? Do you want to see them in your bracket? That good enough?
Thank you.
Coach, they had the deficit down to 6, and it kind of felt like for a while they couldn't buy a bucket. What does it say about this team that you can just come back and end up beating them by 29?
Well, we've got really good players, and my coaching staff does a wonderful job with game planning. Coach Jans and Coach Heyer in this particular game, they put a lot of time and effort into this game plan. I thought we did a marvelous job of executing that game plan, with few exceptions. And now we get to enjoy the rest of our Saturday. It's going to be a long Saturday afternoon, and I'm looking forward to spending some time with family and friends.
The first 4 minutes or so, did you get some easier baskets driving to the rim than you?
In the first half?
Yeah, than you usually get.
Yeah, it did seem to come a little easier than it normally does against them, and I don't know why. I'd have to go back and look at the film. I know Marcus hit a jump shot. It looked really good, and then maybe we got a couple of drives, but we scored 14 points pretty quickly, and that's not the way that it goes usually against them, and the rest of the game seemed to be more on par with the way they defend, which is really good.
Had you been telling Darryl that, junior college guys going through rough patches, Cleve kind of went through it, Joe Ragan went through it, had you been, giving him those kind of examples?
Not just that. I mean, everybody on our team goes through it at some point in the year. I mean, Connor went through it. Deshaun went through it. Richard went through it. Zach Brown went through it. Shaq's gone through it. Everybody on our team has ups and downs. And, the luxury we have is if you're not playing well, we got a guy like Shaq or Rano or even Eric to put him in there instead of you. That's not good for the individual that's craving minutes. But my answer is just play better when you get your opportunity, and then you'll get more opportunities.
You just mentioned Darryl. He shot 50% today, put up a double-double. What did you see from him today?
He was taking advantage of his matchups. It's a great matchup for him. Rano was not playing well, got in quick foul trouble. Of course, Shaq got in foul trouble. So now, he gets to play extended minutes, and he goes for a double-double in 19 minutes, and he looked very comfortable out there. And defensively, he was working hard. That's been his big bugaboo, is execution and defense, and he was very good at that today. So, maybe he moves back in front of Rano. Who knows?
10 straight wins, Coach, after the Illinois State game. What's been the biggest on-court adjustment you've seen your guys make since that game in normal?
I think we're just a little bit better defensively, fewer defensive breakdowns. Our numbers defensively have been off the chain. I mean, tonight they go 27.5% and 21% from three, and that's a team that can really shoot the ball. We gave them very few easy shots. So our defense, and tonight our defensive rebounding, we end up with 36 defensive rebounds for a margin of 20 plus 25 on the glass.